Hello, I'm Bjorn, movie archaeologist, and welcome back to the Temple of Movie Reviews. Today we got a big one. I was digging in that temple, I was digging in that dirt, and I found me an artifact. That artifact is called Wish, and it's the latest Disney musical with a little princess in it, you know, all that. And it's also Disney's 100th animated movie, which means this one's gonna be special, guys. So what makes it so special? It's just really shitty. This movie sucks absolute butthole. I had literally nothing nice to say about this movie. It's a complete mess from start to finish. Its music is bad. Its voice acting is hit or miss, mostly miss. Its visuals are actually kind of nice. I'll give it that. They finally started copying Spider-Verse instead of doing that generic CGI shit they've been doing for a couple of years now, and they made it look like kind of like a storybook. I was into that. That was those guys. It's a shame the story that they were making into that storybook was so dookie dog shit. So I gotta just be honest. This is gonna be the roast of Wish, which is the name of the movie. I don't think I actually said that. Wish is bad. I wouldn't recommend this even with kids. There's nothing here. I was trying to figure out what the moral of the movie was supposed to be. I guess maybe like the patriarchy is bad, but I don't think that's quite it. And I don't know. The movie was a mess, man. There was like, I guess the moral of the movie is no matter what your wish is, it's good. I kind of thought, we've already gone over the careful what you wished for kind of thing. Like, if they had gone for that with this movie, I'm going to pitch, I'll just say, I'm going to pitch what I would do for this movie at the end, like how I would change it. But for now, let's just commence with the roasting. I think the part that got the biggest laugh out of me in the whole movie, it wasn't a joke. It was when they introduced the main character's friends. And I'm sorry to be this, woke Disney guy. I hate using those words and saying those things because it's tacky most of the time. But holy shit, the lineup of friends felt like a corporation sat down with a clipboard and a check mark, and they were like, all right, we need every possible race and combination of race to female to male race, a disability. Like, they went down the checklist and they hit everything. Like, someone needs to be shorter, someone needs to be taller. We need the most scientifically diverse group of friends we could make. And it made me laugh out loud. And I don't know what they were going for with that. But the lineup, it's really funny. When you see the scene, you'll get what I'm laughing at. It was so on the nose that it was clear Disney was pandering, like that thing they've been made fun of. The other thing in this movie that's really funny is there are incessant, never-ending references to previous Disney movies. Like, do you guys remember Peter Pan? How about Tarzan? You guys like Tarzan? And they have no place in the movie at all. They have no place being in this movie, and they're just incessantly referencing their previous movies. We get it. Disney used to make good movies. It's a shame they can't do it anymore. But like there's tons of Mickey Mouse ears that just appear in the movie, and it's so bizarre. I guess they knew this was going to be their 100th film. They were like, let's make it, a celebration of Disney, but also it's not that at all. Like, if you want to do that, do the multiverse of Disney madness instead of making a movie called Wish that's its own thing, but is also trying to pander to the Disney fans. Like, this movie felt like a Disney adult who was like dyslexic and couldn't write, sat down and tried to write a script, and they were told that there couldn't be any moral in the movie, or if there was a moral, it was just that evil man is bad, and then they sat down and wrote a movie. Or it feels like they trained ChatGPT on Disney adult forums and then had it write a script based entirely on Illumination and DreamWorks movies. The movie literally feels like it was written by AI, except honestly, if an AI wrote a movie, it would probably be more sentient, more competent. There'd probably be some kind of point to it. Oh my god. Okay, so this movie is also a victim of what I like to call the John Walker effect. I think that term came from a YouTube video I saw talking about the character of John Walker from Falcon and the Winter Soldier, aka U.S. Agent. That show wants so desperately for the audience to think that U.S. Agent is the bad guy and that we shouldn't like him and we should like, what's her little terrorist shit? I don't know. But instead you watch the movie and everything John Walker does makes him the good guy, but the writers don't realize that because they have no grasp on how the real world works. So you wind up with this very bizarre thing where you're supposed to hate the villain, because he's supposed to be the bad guy, but everything he does is objectively correct, and the hero keeps chiding him for it, so you wind up hating the hero. That's what this movie does. So the main villain in this movie, who's Chris Pine, he is a man who is a magician. He has created the ability to take people's dreams and grant them. And so it takes away their dream, which the movie at first presents as everyone's really happy about it, and then the movie kind of does a heel turn at the halfway point when the twist of what he's actually doing is revealed. So that, like, it's sort of like, it goes back on that, and like, no, they're actually really miserable without their dreams. But I just saw a whole dance sequence about how everyone is so happy and happy here to be here. So basically, he takes these wishes, and every once in a while, he grants a wish for a person. So the main character, Mary Sue, not really, but she is that, you know, kind of that girl boss character. She doesn't do anything. Everything in this movie she does causes chaos and pandemonium, but the movie, again, just keeps trying to present her as the good guy. And I just found her just wrong about literally everything she's trying to do. So she goes to apprentice with this magician, and he explains to her that sometimes not every wish gets granted. And he explains it in such a way that it makes complete and total sense. He's like, I'm running a kingdom, and sometimes a wish which I could grant could be potentially dangerous to the kingdom if I were to grant it. He explains by using her grandpa's wish. Motherfucker's 100 years old, and she's like, he needs his wish now. He's like 100. He's gonna croak in like an hour. Give it to someone else. But beyond that, his wish is that he wants to make music that inspires people, and there's no more detail given. And so the wizard makes the very, very incredible and apt-based point that could be inspiring people to do anything. He could use his wish to inspire an insurrection against the kingdom, and that because he was magic, it was a wish, it would come to pass. And so he says, it's too risky of a wish to grant, it's too vague, I can't grant it. She's like, but my grandpa, he would never do that. And then the king is like, but I do not know that. How could I know what your grandpa will or will not do? And so he's completely right. And the movie plays this sinister music, and then just to make it like, I feel like the writers realized that, wait a minute, hold on, he's right though, he's right, shit. Oh, no, he's right. Damn. Oh, have him turn and go into the camera. That's literally what they do. They have him turn and make an evil face. And his eyes get all evil. It was like, now the kids will understand that they're supposed to disagree with his very correct opinion. And so, like, this girl makes a wish on a star and gets this wish and goes about stealing everyone's wishes and giving them back to people. And they wind up, like, killing the wizard and getting rid of him forever. He winds up getting sealed inside a mirror for the crime of daring to think that, hey, maybe I should be very careful about what wishes I grant. You know, the moral of damn near every wish story, except for this one. Oh, my fucking God. It's like monkey's paw. She just doesn't even think about the monkey's paw sort of thing the whole time. It drove me fucking crazy. So, to make the bad guy evil, when he starts losing control of his people and other people are casting magic, he pulls out this forbidden spell book and casts a spell. And he gets kind of evil at the end, right? But it felt very ham-fisted because up to that point he'd been very normal. And he was only driven to the point of becoming a big evil dick because this main character would not stop fucking with his wish situation. He had a really good thing going. No one had any inspiration to either tear down the kingdom or not, whatnot. And if they had a harmless wish that couldn't cause any harm, he would grant it. So it's literally a perfect fucking system. It's literally fucking perfect. And the whole city is like, it's like a utopia until What's-Her-Face comes the fuck in and the whole city falls apart. I bet they get invaded by the Mongols like a week after the movie ends. Holy shit, what a fucking tone-deaf movie. And all the while, we see like fucking Peter Pan, we see fucking Mickey Mouse ears. This movie is a complete mess. The music, it's bad. It's straight up terrible. It sounds like generic pop music. It sounds horrible. There's no motifs that really stick out to you. It's so bland and so generic. The whole movie is like the most generic thing you can imagine. Any conflict at all is good and evil. There's no gray, not even the hint of gray anywhere in the movie. No characters face flaws unless they're the bad guy. There's some other things I'd talk about, but I don't know. They're probably too based of opinions. I'm probably lay off that shit. I try not to get into that kind of stuff, but the movie felt very pandering, and I think if you watch the movie, you'll pick up exactly what I'm talking about. It was pretty fucking bad. I try not to talk about that kind of shit, but this movie was so ham-fisted with it. It was just really hard to ignore. Oh my god. Okay, so I'm gonna focus back in. So if I was writing this movie, and what I assumed they were gonna do right off the bat, because I thought, well, this wizard is so correct. This girl's having a very adverse reaction to it just because her grandpa is affected by it, which is super selfish. Um, I thought, oh, she's gonna make the wish on the star, and all of the wishes are gonna come true, like she wants, and it's gonna be complete chaos. And the rest of the movie is gonna be them fighting through all these wishes and trying to undo what they'd done with the help of the wizard, because he was gonna be revealed to be correct. Because get careful what you wish for story. And at the end, she realizes that not everyone's wish can be granted, and you have a moral for the kids. What's that moral I think this movie should have taught? Hey, sometimes your dream won't come true. It's not something anyone wants to hear, but it's a fucking fact. And telling a kid that at a young age can really help them down the line. Hey, little Timmy, you're not going to be an astronaut, motherfucker. It's not going to happen for you, man. You can work your very damnedest at it, and it's just straight up not going to happen. And sometimes, as much as we hate to hear stuff like that, that's a moral that sometimes people need to be told. Like, sometimes not everyone's going to be happy. Sometimes you can't always get what you want. Stuff like that, right? Basic lessons. And one you don't see enough is, hey, sometimes your wish doesn't come true. And I think you had an opportunity here to tell a story like that. But instead, they just didn't say anything. Like, the movie had literally nothing to say. It meanders around, does a bland song number or two. The jokes. Oh, the jokes. Holy shit, this movie was unfunny. I cannot emphasize how unfunny it was. There's this goat character, right? And the entire joke is that he talks in an accent like this, even though he is a young goat. How absurd of a joke. And you think that's funny? You think that's fucking funny? Hey, you think that's funny? Yeah, is it still funny after 50 fucking minutes of it? Tell me that, huh? What if I told you, this AA battery, it's got a voice like this. This AA battery talks like this the whole time. Isn't it wacky that this battery talks like this? And then imagine listening to that fucking voice for 45 fucking minutes. And then tell me, is the joke still funny? Are you still laughing? Because there's literally no other joke. The goat just says things in that fucking voice. And we're expected to think it's funny for 45 fucking minutes. I can't take it. This movie, man, it just rubbed me the wrong way because it's so easy. It was so easy to make this competent. Maybe not the music, that's hard, like objectively hard, but even with bland music, a slight punch up to the story, or any punch up to the story would have fixed this fucking movie. And I saw that this was getting panned, and I was glad. I didn't go in knowing it was getting panned, and when I came out of it, I was like, I hate that so much. I bet critics like it, and I was pleasantly surprised that they also saw through this shit. Disney, I don't know what the fuck is going on with your fucking management. This is the first time I've seen one of your animated movies that I actually hated. Like, they're usually so inoffensive that I, don't have strong emotions one way or the other. Like, I like Moana, and Kanto was mid, but whatever, I didn't hate them. This movie, I hated it. It just didn't do it for me. And I hate that fucking it's a kids movie excuse. Don't hit me with that, man. There's a lot of really good kids movies. Fuck, Disney used to make tons of them. Their 100th animated movie, and it's the most lazy, pathetic, cash-grabby, pandering piece of shit I've ever seen. That's so fitting. Honestly, with how that company is going right now, it's the most fitting thing in the world. Yeah, so Wish, I hated it. I think you could have easily made something more interesting. I already proposed what I would have done with it. It would have taught kids a lesson that, they need to learn at a younger age. It's a rough lesson, but you can teach it in a way that, they learn naturally, they pick up on it. But instead, this movie, I was trying to think, what's the message of this movie? I thought, well, maybe this is supposed to be like an anti-corporation message. You sell your soul, you give up your dream to have stability. But no, that's not even what it is either. There is something there. You could have done something anti-corporate with that, if they really wanted to. But, Disney is a corporation. They're not going to fucking do a message that hurts their bottom end. I don't know, man. I don't know if y'all can tell, but I was not a fan of this particular film. I thought this one was super mid, below mid. I think this is just straight up bad. If you have kids, I don't know what else is out that's for children, but just rent Spider-Verse at home and watch that instead. Or Puss in Boots 2. Puss in Boots 2 has some good messages, good writing, It teaches kids about, death, something that kids understand, and having some kind of context to it, told in a metaphorical way. It helps. Just like, they could have done with this movie. Literally, I challenge you. Let's do the Wish Challenge. If you watch this movie for some godforsaken reason, tell me in the comments what the moral of the story was supposed to be. Because I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. It felt like they were trying to have one, but watching the movie, it was so unclear. Like, was the moral that good is evil? People should work towards their own wishes, even no matter what they are? Like, I was thinking, like, this chick was like, everyone deserves to have their wish, the chance of the wish. And I was just imagining, like, mustache man in World War II. Like, yeah, he deserves his wish, too. Like, the whole movie was just so childish, but not in a way that was, like, charming, like some animated movies can be. I don't know, man. This was a bad one. Disney really missed with this. Every angle of it, except for the animation, that was really nice. Didn't, work. And again, it suffered from that hiring celebrities for movies. Chris Pine can't sing. No offense, I love Chris Pine. He can't sing, so hiring him for this movie was a complete miss. His voice for the bad guy kind of worked, but this is a musical. You should hire singers, because chances are they can probably voice act. There's a lot of crossover there, right? Singing and voice acting, it tends to be something there. I don't know. This one, 4 out of 10. I hated this. It is lame. There's nothing interesting in it. The animation is kind of nice, but besides that, it is the most bland and unoffensive thing you've ever seen in your life. And by proxy, because it's so bland and unoffensive, it winds up becoming offensive to me. I'm sorry I was super negative in this movie. I try not to be like that, but I didn't like this artifact. I've been Bjorn. I'm going to keep digging for more artifacts. I don't think there's really any artifacts coming out anytime soon, except for Wonka, which I'll probably review that at some point. So, let me know what you thought of this movie below. I'm going to just keep mining. If you're looking for something else to watch, doing Justice League Dark series where I'm writing my own thing. You can come make fun of my writing there. Next act is coming out very soon. And then right over here, we've got all the other advanced screening adventures, so you can go check those out. All right, see y'all.